Excuse me, Dr. Sparks, Dr. Sparks. We're live right now.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Sparks. This is the Martian Explorations. Let's get right to it.
I know a place that's really cool. It's up higher than any school. Grab a jetpack and some fuel, cause we're going up high, high in the sky. Come on up for a ride with your good friends at your side. Imagination is your guide, cause it's Dr. Sparks, science story typewriting.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Dr. Sparks. This is the Martian Explorations, and today I am joined by Martian Mole, Martian Squirrel, and Martian Mouse, or as they prefer to go by on their Earth names are Chasen, Jasper, and Jake. Together, the three of them are going to solve a mystery, right wrongs, and in general, make the planet a better place. So let me set the scene for you guys. You are on the Acidolia Plain on Mars, and you are sitting around a campfire. You've been traveling all day long, and you're hot and you're sweaty, and you're just getting ready to go to bed when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, hops a rabbit. Guys, you gotta help me. You guys, I've made a huge mistake, the biggest mistake ever. I lost a ring. It's the most important ring in the world, and I lost it. It was the only job I had was to keep a hold of this ring, and I lost it. Guys, help me. What would you say to this rabbit? What can you ask him?
Why do you need to protect the ring?
Oh my gosh, this ring? Well, it's a very important ring, a very powerful ring. If I give it to somebody, and I've got somebody specific in mind, and when I give it to them, I ask them to marry me, and they say yes. You see, it's an engagement ring. It's for the most special person in the world.
Okay, where is it?
Well, see, this person that I'm giving it, she's really not much of a person. She's a frog. She's the most wonderful frog in the whole world. And we met a while ago. And this frog, when we met, I bought us both balloons. And whenever I gave her her balloon, we looked at each other and we fell in love. And it was a really special moment. And we knew we were supposed to spend the rest of our lives together. But guys, the problem is, I thought that I would be clever and I would use my balloon and I would tie the engagement ring to the balloon and give it to her. But what I did was I tied the engagement ring to the balloon and then I turned my back. And whenever I turned back around, it was gone. The balloon went into the sky, guys. You got to get the engagement ring back. She won't marry me if I don't have an engagement ring, I think.
Well, let's see. Let's make a tower out of rocks, sticks, and try to get high enough to reach it. And then jump, because we can jump high on Mars.
Martian Mole, you have an idea?
Okay, I take up one of those rocks. I climb to the top of something. I jump, and I throw the rock as high as I can possibly throw it.
Perfect. Okay, you climb up to the top of one of those tall pillars with a rock in your hand. You throw it into the sky. The problem is you can't even see the balloon. The balloon has gone hugely high into the sky. The squirrel, you actually happen to know that in the Acidolia Plain where you guys are, there's an old turtle who has a balloon with a basket. Maybe you could ride that balloon up to the top of the sky.
Yeah, I bet I could.
Seems like a pretty good idea. Do you guys want to go and head out and check out the balloon shack and maybe see if that's a way that you could get this balloon back?
Yes. Yeah.
Martian Squirrel leads the way. He knows where this balloon shack is. Now, I want to ask you guys really quickly about balloons. All right, you're going to use a balloon to get up into the sky. But how do balloons rise? What can you fill a balloon with so that it's lighter than air?
Helium.
Right?
Helium.
Yes, helium. That's exactly right. And what does helium do besides that? If you inhale it, what does it do to your voice?
It makes your voice
It makes it
high.
all high-pitched.
Yes, it makes your voice high. What'd you say, Martian Mouse?
Like this.
Yes.
Bitch, because I'm a Martian.
Yes, you'd sound just like Martian Mouse. That's perfect. Now, is there any other way that you can, anything else that you can fill a balloon with to make it rise in the air?
Well, it's on Mars, it's probably going to be very hard. So you could probably find water in some lake if there was lake on Mars, and then take the oxygen from that and make it into air and then rise all the way up. And since we're in Mars, maybe somehow with our rocket, we could go up and then it will float. Water will float in outer space.
So you've got some great ideas here. So this idea that you can use water as a way to make this thing rise up into the air is really the key here. So one of the other things that you can fill a balloon with is hydrogen gas. Have you ever heard of hydrogen gas before? Yeah, they don't use it in hot air balloons, or they don't use it in balloons that rise so much anymore because hydrogen gas is very explosive. And famously, there was a blimp called the Hindenburg that caught on fire because it was filled with hydrogen gas. So you can use hydrogen gas as rocket fuel, but it also works just fine if you're very, very careful to fill a balloon with it as well. And Martian Squirrel, you were absolutely right. One of the places you can get hydrogen gas is from water. Now, do you guys know what the chemical formula for water is?
No.
Yeah, Martian Mole.
2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen, H2O.
H2O, 2 parts hydrogen to 1 part of oxygen. You're absolutely right. Wow. Where did you learn that, Martian Mole? That's incredible.
I literally, I used to just like stare at the what's it called table, the periodic table, and I just learned about some of the things on it.
Perfect. Well, you're way ahead of the game then, because what's going to happen is we're going to need to split some water apart. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the shack right now and see what kind of options we have. Can you guys see that doesn't look like there's any helium tanks. There's usually big tall metal tanks, but there is that little hydrolysis machine over there in the corner by Martian Mouse there. Hydrolysis is the process that you split water apart into hydrogen and oxygen gas. So I actually have a little demonstration for you here right now. So I've got a little chamber right here. This is a little glass jar that's filled with water, just water. And then I've got 2 wires below it right here. What's going to happen is I've got a little 9-volt battery over here, and I'm going to apply 9 volts to our 2 little wires right here. And you're going to see something pretty neat happen here. Bubbles of gas are going to start rising off the wires. One side will start creating oxygen gas, and one side will start creating hydrogen gas. Watch, you ready? 3, 2, 1. Now, here's a question for you. Which side is which? Can you guess which side is hydrogen and which is oxygen? Martian Mole, sounds like you've got a guess.
I believe that the bigger tank would be hydrogen and the smaller would be oxygen because in water there's 2 parts hydrogen and 1 part oxygen. Therefore, the hydrogen needs more space.
That is awesome. You're absolutely right. So yes, so this one right here over on the my right, well, I get really confused about directions, but on this side right here, the one that has more bubbles is the side that has hydrogen gas because there's more hydrogen versus the oxygen. So yes, you're absolutely right. So whenever you get the hydrolysis machine working, you're able to collect the hydrogen from that side of your chamber, and you very quickly fill up this balloon. The balloon inflates, and your gas balloon is now ready to carry you up into the sky. So you guys climb aboard the balloon, and as light as a feather, the balloon picks up into the sky, and you're floating through the Martian atmosphere. Now, you guys are not 30 feet in the air. Martian Mole, do you have a question?
Before I leave, can I take a rock to get the balloon out of the air?
Sure, yes. You carefully place one of the rocks on the ground in your pocket. Yeah, it's a pretty nice rock. Okay, now you're about 30 feet in the air when all of a sudden, Martian Rabbit, who has come with you, has a very sudden and very terrible realization. He is afraid of heights. Oh, guys, jeez, you guys, yeah, I'm so afraid of heights. I'm freaking out here. Look, if you look down, the ants, they look like ants. Can't you just see? I can't deal with this, guys. I'm freaking out. Can you guys talk the rabbit down? You're trapped inside a very tiny basket with 3 other animals. It's kind of cramped to begin with. And now this rabbit's going crazy. What would you say to him to calm him down?
Hey, Rabbit, did you know that the higher you go, the more clouds you can see? And clouds are those white thingies that are up in the sky. And if you look up, you won't get so scared instead of down.
That's amazing. Yes. Okay. Okay. So you tell this to the rabbit, and the rabbit, he gazes up at the sky, and now that he's not looking down and thinking about how far he could fall, he feels a lot better. But he's not quite there yet. Martian Mole, do you have a suggestion?
I say, hello, did you know that you can't fall in Mars because it has no gravity?
Well, Mars has about 40% of the gravity that Earth does. So I can't award you full points for being factually accurate, but I give you full points for style. And the rabbit is swept up by your dulcet tones. He thinks your voice is beautiful, and he feels calmed by the very act of you singing. Martian Squirrel, you got an idea?
Well, you could just blindfold him so he doesn't see anything.
Okay, that's a good idea too. Okay, so the rabbit.
But then he would be afraid of the blindfold.
Yeah.
Rabbit, it turns out, is less afraid of a blindfold than he is of heights, and so he does in fact tie his ears over his eyes beneath his chin right there, so that he can't see anymore. And you guys have done it. You've calmed the rabbit down. Excellent job, guys. And excellent teamwork here. Martian Mouse, that was incredible. Way to get his eyes directed upwards. Martian Mole singing to him. Martian Squirrel making sure that he doesn't see anymore. And look, there he is. He's got his eyes over his ears now. His ears over his eyes. Okay. So you've now risen into the air quite a bit, and your balloon seems to be more or less stable, but you don't know where you're going. Is there some way you could figure out where to go next?
I think we should see if, know how they have metal detectors? We could figure out a way to alter a metal detector so it only senses plastic. And there's not going to be much plastic in the Mars's atmosphere, so we could just follow the balloon with it. Wait, no, the metal detector would work on the ring if the ring has metal on it.
You're absolutely right. That would totally work. Okay. Okay. Martian Squirrel, do you have an idea?
We could use my bushy tail to direct the way that we want to go, only if we know where we are going.
So I think Martian Mouse is really onto something here. I think you should look at the basket to see if you can find anything that's in the basket.
Mm-hmm.
Searching around, you find there is no metal detector. Although I gotta say, Martian Mouse, that is an ingenious solution, truly. If there was that would be such a good solution, I think. But you look around, and what you do find in the basket is this box right here that says navigation. You open it up, and inside you find a compass, and a map. And Martian Mouse, we're actually going to use some of your ideas here, because the way the compass works is, of course, by sensing metal, right? And so you've got your little compass right here. And we're going to now use the map to try to figure out our position. Have you guys ever done this before? Have you ever tried to figure out your position based on a map?
Yes.
So
All the time.
Do you know about triangulation?
No. Martian Squirrel does not.
I've heard of this before. So Martian Mole, can I pretend to be you and have you teach everybody how to do it? And I'll just show them really quickly with this little demonstration here.
Yeah.
Okay. What we've got here is a map, right? And it's got some landmarks. And if we look out the window, or if we look out the basket, we can actually see some of these same landmarks. If we could just see that really quickly and then come back. So there's this Box Mesa and this Olympus Mons. The first thing we need to do is make sure that our map is pointed in the right direction. So what you're going to want to do is make sure that the north of your compass is pointed so that it lines up with the north on your map. So can you see that we're lined up perfectly right here? So this is the right orientation for the map. The map's facing the right direction. It doesn't need to be this way. Now, can you see that on our compass right now, we've got some marks that show the degrees from north. So there's 20 degrees is off in this direction, 40, 60, 340 the other way, because now we're subtracting from 360, 320, 300. If we look out the front of the basket, we can actually see these landmarks, and we can see the angle as well. So there's the Olympus Mons on the right and the Box Mesa on the left. And Olympus Mons is about 30 degrees and Box Mesa is at 320 degrees. So now what we need to do is try to figure out where we are in relationship to Olympus Mons. Olympus Mons is 30 degrees from north. So we're going to shift our compass right here so that the little needle is now pointing at 30 degrees. And we're still keeping it lined up with north, this main part. So now this line right here is 30 degrees off of north, which is where we know Olympus Mons must be. So we know that we have to be somewhere on this line right here. We have to be 30 degrees off north. So I'll go ahead and draw this right here. We're somewhere on this line right here. The next part is we look at Olympus Mons, or we look at the Box Mesa right now. And remember, that was at 320 degrees off the left. So we'll once again look at our compass now, and we'll set the compass so that the straight arrow is at 320 degrees. And now we know that this line right here is on the right orientation. So we're somewhere along this line right here. So taking these 2 points together, we know that we are where these two lines intersect. And if you look, we're already at the X on the map. We're already at the place where all balloons come to rest. Now, what's strange is you're in the right place. This is where all the balloons should be. The map says so. But whenever you look out, when you look forward, you see no balloons. When you look to your right, no balloons. Look to your left, no balloons. Look down, no balloons. Where are the balloons?
It's under our hot air balloon.
Under the hot air balloon?
Yeah, we
Well,
probably landed on it. Because
Not down.
because all of the balloons come to rest right there.
You're right. But okay, so Martian Mole, do you have an idea?
I think that they already popped because they ran out of hydrogen and stuff. They probably ran to the bottom, or they popped. Lots of explanations.
Yeah. So most balloons here on Earth, in normal physics, balloons will begin to expand as they go higher and higher in the atmosphere. And eventually they'll get so big that they will pop. But in this magical world of Mars, we're going to say that they stay intact. The balloons are still there and they're floating at this one level, but we can't see them. They're not below us. They're not to our left or our right. Where else could they be? Yes! I saw Martian Mole pointing up. Martian Squirrel, do you have an idea?
They could be pointing up.
Yes, you look up and sure enough, above your heads, that is where all the balloons are. You guys are a little too low. So how can you make the balloon climb the extra little bit you need in order to be able to rise up to the level of the balloons?
Do we still have the jetpack from the submarine?
We do not have the jetpack, although that is an excellent idea. Martian Mole, what do you think?
I think that I climb to the top of the hot air balloon and I throw the rock at it, and it drops, and I hope that I hit it.
Okay, you climb up to the hot air balloon, you throw that balloon, and it flies up, and it hits one of the balloons, but not the right balloon, and it just kind of like moves it out of the way. Actually, you know what? It does pop it, but it's not the right balloon. The balloon pops and goes, ah.
Poor balloon.
It falls to the ground. But it wasn't the one with the engagement ring. So you need to get the balloon to raise up. How can you make a hot air balloon or a gas balloon climb?
I have an idea.
What's that, Martian Mouse?
You could cut one of the strings holding the balloon to the basket and use that basket and lasso one of the balloons and pull us up, and then grab the right balloon and then pop the balloon and let it fall.
You're absolutely on the right track. The idea of cutting off parts of the balloon so that the balloon is lighter. But there's a way that gas balloons usually do this. They usually have sandbags. There's a set of sandbags around the outside of this balloon, and they're a way that you can reduce the weight of the balloon. It's like tying a weight to a balloon. If you untie that weight, the balloon's going to rise up into the air because it was kind of held down by that weight. So if you drop a sandbag, then you'll be able to rise up in the air. And you guys have that sandbag right there.
Yeah.
I saw that thing. I just thought it was just for decoration.
It's a very functional decoration in this case.
I
All
thought
right.
it was like a like a knot tying up all the strings so that it wouldn't collapse and just fall.
Well, that would be something to be very worried about because it would be terrible if you accidentally untied the balloon from the top of your basket and you just started plummeting. But no, it is just holding up the sandbag. So you're going to let the sandbag go. And the way that you let a sandbag go is you don't just drop the sandbag, because if you do, that's a 50-pound bag of sand that if it hits somebody, it could really hurt them. The way you're supposed to let sand out is you just dump the sand out. And then instead of a heavy bag of sand, you've got just a stream of gentle sand that, isn't really going to hurt anybody and is not a big deal at all. So you guys going to do that? Let the sand out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So you let the sand out and it falls ever so gently to the ground. And it doesn't fall on anybody in particular. It doesn't really do anything that terrible or meaningful. It's just a wonderful experience all around. Ah! Oh, no! Oh, man. I got sand everywhere. Okay, well, it is terrible to drop sand on somebody. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so immediately you let the sand out of the bag and you rise up into the air. But there's a problem. You've let so much sand out, you're actually lighter than you need to be. And you continue to rise up past the balloons now. You shoot through the clouds, penetrate the clouds. You rise into a space beyond them. You can see the 2 moons of Mars, Phobos and Deimos. And now you've got to find a way to get down. How can you lower the balloon somewhat?
I know how.
How's that?
You can, well, we won't have to lower the balloon. No, the rope holding the sandbag up, we can use that rope and climb down to the place where all balloons rest.
That's a good idea, but only one person could be on the balloon at a time. I think you really have to get this balloon down. Martian Squirrel, I saw that you raised your hand. What do you think?
Well, maybe we could ask Homos and Deimos, which I think are their names.
Yes, the 2 moons of Mars. I'm so impressed.
Yes, to ask its asteroid friends to help us get down.
Sure, let's do it. Okay, so you guys say to the moons, you say, hey there, moons, would you guys help us out? We are just trying to get to these balloons right here. And the one moon says, hey, look at these guys. They're looking to try to get down. Don't they know that the way that a balloon gets down is by letting out gas? Look at these guys. Ah! The moons of Mars, you may not know this, they're kind of jerks. And they're kind of mean to you, too. So they insult you, but they do let you know that interesting tidbit of information. If you let the gas out of the balloon, you will descend.
Not all of it, though, because then we'll just plummet. We have to let it out little bit by little bit. So we just go.
What do you think, Martian Mole? Do you think you can manage that?
Yeah, I can use that Vox earlier if I got it back.
Yes.
And I could just put it in and then jam it.
Yeah,
And
when you threw that rock, it actually
But,
popped that balloon, but it actually bounced off another balloon and landed perfectly back in the basket. You got it at. So you use the rock as kind of a lever here and ever so gently let a little bit of gas out and the balloon.
and then you plug it.
Yeah, and then you plug it back up. Exactly. Now the balloon descends and you're at just the right height. And look, now you can see all of the balloons that have ever been lost. They've all come to rest right there. And look, there's one that actually has the engagement ring. Can you see it? Let's see. Oh, there he is. It's got the engagement ring. Look at it glitter. It's beautiful. Do you guys want to say something to this balloon?
Yes.
Hey, balloon.
Martian
Would you
Squirrel,
mind
what do you
coming over here? We just want to say hi.
Martian Squirrel, what do you say?
How did you even get an engagement ring on you?
It was that rabbit right there. Excuse me, that's not his voice. It was that rabbit right there. He tied the engagement ring to me. Look, I don't want this engagement ring, but I have a requirement. If I give you this ring back, you've got to let the love of my life go. Do you remember Martian rabbit fell in love with Martian frog? Do you remember that? Well, while that was happening, I was falling in love with Martian frog's balloon.
Oh, yeah.
They were falling in love, but we were falling in love too. Look at us. And now I'm trapped in the sky here. I'm never going back down to the ground. But you've got to let the green balloon go. Will you let the green balloon go? Martian Mole, what do you think?
I think you've been sleeping for a lot. You've been resting for way too long. So why don't you just float down there? Because you might. Oh, I know. I take the rock and I slowly I pop him, and slowly he falls down, and then I take the engagement ring.
Well, I feel like while that is a very good engineering solution, you're kind of acting against the forces of love here. You got to reunite these balloons. I'm personally invested in their story. I don't know about you, but they belong together. So do you think you could convince the rabbit to make sure that the frog lets go of the green balloon?
Oh, I have an idea. I take off the engagement ring, and then I jump onto the balloon and I slowly float down with it.
Okay, that sounds great. Okay, so Martian Rabbit says to you, and you're holding onto the balloon. So Martian Mole leaps out of the basket, grabs onto the balloon. This is very, I don't even remember the name of that movie, but somebody jumps out of an airplane and grabs the person with the parachute. It's just like that. You leap out.
It's like Mary Poppins, but instead of an umbrella, it's a balloon.
But even better. And you descend out of the sky. Because gravity is less on Mars, I'm going to say that it works. And moles are smaller than people, so I think it's going to work. Okay, now Martian Rabbit says, okay, balloon, I will let the green balloon go. So now, you descend. You work the rock that Martian Mole had used as a basket, and you let the whole balloon descend right now. And chase after Martian Mole, who's descending with the red balloon. Now, you guys reach the ground. And as soon as you reach the ground, the red balloon flies back up again. Now, you're on the ground, and Martian Frog is there. Martian Frog says, oh, hello there, guys. I'm so happy to meet you. I'm Martian Frog. And have you met Martian Rabbit? He's really special. He's my favorite person in the whole world. I thought I would come out today with my favorite green balloon. Boy, I love this balloon. It's such a special balloon to me. And Martian Rabbit says, guys, I can't tell her. Can you tell her that I promised I'd let go of her balloon? Martian Mole, will you tell her?
Don't the balloons need an engagement ring now?
What's that?
Don't the balloons need an engagement ring now?
Yes, they do. They do need it. What would a balloon engagement ring even look like?
I don't know.
It would be a little balloon tied to to the string to like the top of the balloon, and it would basically be a hat.
It would be a hat. Okay. That is on Mars. I'm now declaring for everyone on. That's always the way it worked. Balloons wear little ring hats like tiaras, like little
Yeah.
Whenever they are getting engaged. That is perfect. Okay. Will one of you tell Martian Frog about that she needs to let go of her green balloon, and don't spill the beans with the engagement. That's the secret yet. Martian Rabbit probably won't tell her.
You could say that. Did you know that my balloon and your balloon, they like each other?
Aw, are you telling me that when we fell in love, Martian Rabbit, our balloons fell in love too? Aw, that's the cutest thing I've ever heard. Well, come here, Martian Rabbit. You're just the best. This balloon is my favorite balloon, but do you know why it's my favorite balloon? It's because you gave it to me. I don't really care that much about the balloon. So come here, give me a hug, and let's let this balloon go up so it can be with its love too. And the balloon rises up into the sky, chasing after the red balloon that Martian Mole had descended down. And they immediately go and get themselves a matching engagement ring tiaras. And now Martian Mouse and Martian Rabbit and Martian Frog, they reach out, and in Martian Rabbit's hand is the engagement ring. And he holds Martian Frog's hand. He says, Martian Frog, will you marry me? And Martian Frog says, Aw, Martian rabbit. Of course I will. I was waiting for you to ask me. You're so sweet. You guys did it. You solved the mystery. The two of them are going to get married now. That's so cute. To celebrate their engagement, there's only one thing to do, and that's have another disco party. Wouldn't you know it? The disco ball descends, and we once again have to dance. Woo!
I just wish you had control of this madness that you're craving all the time.
A discotheque.
Is a holy house, and you wear it out when you go to pray. You live this fast, so you don't have to look back. You just have to react to what comes your way. I this disco therapy. I said, I can't stop this disco therapy. I've been running after you and chasing and proving the lights have taken you under. I said,
You guys, that was spectacular is the understatement of the year. That was amazing. This is the Martian Explorations. I am Dr. Sparks. We were joined today by Jason, by Martian Squirrel. We were joined today by Jasper, by Martian Mouse. We were joined today by Jake, Martian Mole. They were our adventurers. This is the Martian Explorations. Thank you for tuning in. This was amazing. Now, this is the end of our broadcast now, but I very quickly want to thank Family Camp for bringing us today. Family Maker Camp has a whole host of shows just like this. If you go to makercamp.com/events, you can find out all about that. If you're interested in Dr. Sparks and in the Martian Explorations, our website is drsparksshow.com. It's a great website with lots of fun resources, and you should go ahead and take a look there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been a joy. You guys were hilarious, and these were some incredible solutions. Thanks again so much.